from all around Geelong. I'm here to tell you how football is strong.
Good morning and welcome again to the GDFL Footy Show, coming to you live out of Geelong on a Saturday morning on Channel 44. It's back to footy again this afternoon. We had the big interleague game last Saturday afternoon up at the Bendigo Queen Elizabeth Oval, where the Heathcote Footy League took on the GDFL Raiders, but it's all on again in fair dinkum contest this afternoon for the home and away season in 2012. As I said, up at the Queen Elizabeth Oval last Saturday afternoon, the Raiders went up to take on the Heathcote Football League, and they played pretty well for most of the day. Even at half-time, scores were dead level, but the Heathcote Raiders went away and won the game reasonably convincingly at the end, 16-19, 115 to the GDFL Raiders, 13-9, 87. Andrew Challis, a magnificent game. The East Geelong boy ran across the ground all day and was absolutely sensational. And the son of a gun, Matt Tyquin, the Bannockburn boy, played a fantastic game indeed. Brett McLeod continued on his goal-kicking spree for the year, kicking 5 credible goals, which kept the GDFL Raiders right in the game. Hello, I'm Dick Philpott, and once again I have assembled some of the biggest names and brains in country football to eradicate, adjudicate, communicate, but definitely not procrastinate. And of course the man who needs absolutely no introduction, the #1 commentator in country football, Eric Nicholls. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, Dick. Nice to be back again and seeing you in very fine fettle this morning.
Fine fettle, yes. I get up in the morning and I have the wheat bix, and Rosemary looks after me. Don't you worry about that. And I always love coming here in the morning. Now, and the man, of course, who also needs no introduction, he is the man from the duck pond, and I'll just... Here it is, Exhibit A. This is him. We brought Grubby out of the retirement closet. He's been in there all year in the cupboard. We haven't spoken to him all year. Say hello, Grubby. There he is. Have a look at this. Have a look. That's about the best he'll ever talk all year, so I can tell you that now, folks. Now, we're going to have a crack at this because Donna Frassisi from the netball show, morning Donna, who's just left the studio, she decided to write all over me, mate, Grubby. And as you can see, it's got Grubby written on it, which is not very impressive. I suppose it's pretty right. But she's also drawn naughty things on it, folks, as well. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but we'll introduce the man who we really know who it is, and Donna. You'll keep, don't you worry about that. And here that's him on the screen. Have a look at him. This is Grubby Cations, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Grubby.
Yeah, good morning. What can I say about that, mate? What can I say?
Now, we know you're from the duck pond, mate. Now, we've got something you want to show on the screen here. Have a look at this. A little bit of footage taken before the rain last week. This is before the rain. What's that?
That's not Galvin Park.
That's Galvin Park. And what is that Richatd Cations there in the foreground? No, that's him. Richard Carlton, I should say. And Richatd Cations.
There's no way that is Central's.
That is. We'll have a look at that, folks. Now, they reckon we'll have a crack at them about it being the duck pond. Have a look at that. And what do you reckon they are sitting in the foreground? They're not moving very well, are they? I thought we were going to get real ones, fella. Oh, no, we're back on again. Look at that. What do you reckon, Grubby? Is that all right? Is that all right? Let's sit there now and Donna won't play with you again.
Lucky me old man wasn't there with his shotty.
I tell you what, lucky they weren't anywhere near the Winchelsea Footy Club with the gun club. It would have been blowing the size and hours and out of them. Get out of there, Grubby. Anyway, had enough of you. Now, of course, the big game last week up at the Queen Elizabeth Oval was the Heathcote Footy League playing the GDFL Raiders. Grubby Cations, the man we're just talking about, the #1 duck from Werribee Centrals, interviewed Paul Price, the interleague coach, and a man who did a fantastic job for the Raiders, of course, Andrew Challis from the East Geelong Footy Club. Here's Grubby.
The scoreboard was disappointing in the finish. Couple of junk time goals for them, but we were really in it for a while. You have to be proud of these kids, mate.
Absolutely. We said all along, it might not have been the highest calibre, so to speak, of talent that came up, but we knew that they give a fair dinkum effort. And the 10-minute mark of that last quarter, we turned a 14-point three-quarter time deficit into a 10-point lead. But we just couldn't sustain it. And in the end, I didn't think it deserved to be blown out to the margin that it did because they'd worked a lot harder than what the actual scoreboard shows.
Yeah, well, I have to agree with that, but I do have to go back to the point, and I'm not going to have a crack at these blokes that come up because they did a great effort, but I was talking to Neville Whitley earlier. Out of the side that you selected first, 19 players didn't play. That's got to hurt you, mate.
Oh, look, it does, but you can dwell on that or you can be, absolutely proud of young Matty Tyquin, the game that he played, the opportunity that he got. Tavai Soini from Winch didn't get a lot, but still eligible to play under 18 footy. Dylan Smith came through the middle and did a job. These kids came up as kids, but I reckon they walk off this ground as men.
Well, I tell you what, mate, you might have been a little bit towards the end of the game. The real crucial couple of goals, 50-metre penalties when blokes. The umpire was a little bit weird towards the end.
It was. All day I thought they'd been really good. We're not going to blame that, but
no.
Yeah, a couple of times we stood there shaking our head. We didn't know, one, which way the decision was going to go, and then two, the 50-metre penalties, they just had me bemused. But look, it's happened, and there's nothing we do about it now.
A great first half, a really good second half. You've got to be proud of your own performance.
Yeah, no, I was happy just to get a good start. I mean, the boys didn't start off too well to start off with, and I think we rallied hard, and I was proud of the boys myself. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to play as well as I did if it wasn't for the other boys around me. They looked after me, protected me, and yeah.
Again, you must have been happy with your own performance, considering that the East Geelong boys all come up in the bus, 15 or 20 of them. You'd be pretty happy with that?
Yeah, bloody oath. I'm loving my time at East Geelong, and the boys down there are great. And again, they're helping me develop into a great footballer, a good footballer. So yeah.
Do you actually think East Geelong have brought a bus up? Do you think the other clubs should encompass this game more than they do?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I reckon we need a bit more support. I mean, the crowds are okay, but for interleague footy, I'd expect to see bigger crowds, and it'd be great to see that in the future.
And good interview there, from Grubby, with the interleague coach Paul Price and Andrew Challis. They did a magnificent job for the Raiders up at the Queen Elizabeth Oval at Bendigo last Saturday afternoon. So a big day up there, Grubby. It must have been, as you said before the break, a beautiful oval, very picturesque football.
Oh, look, it was a fantastic ground, fantastic crowd. It was a great day for football, actually. There was no breeze to speak of. Everyone went out on their own doings, and it was just a pretty good game too. Like, I think it was 28 points in the finish, but the last 3 goals were junk time goals. The Geelong Raiders hit the front in the last quarter. So, look, it was a terrific game. They just ran out of steam a little bit in the last quarter.
The game was played as a curtain raiser. How did that sort of affect everybody in that respect?
Look, I don't know about the players so much. I think it affected some of the supporters, as some of them had quite a few to drink before 2 o'clock, when normally they don't even have any. And someone in present company not accepted either. But look, it was very funny starting the game at 12 o'clock, and maybe that's an excuse we can use.
See Pricey there on screen, the interleague coach. His first year as, well, he called himself interleague manager last week on the show, in that the players already know how to play, so there's not much coaching involved. How do you think he went in his first run?
Well, look, I actually spoke to him at the East Geelong game, the match of the round, a couple of weeks ago, and got a little bit of thoughts on how he was going to run things. And I spoke to him again on Saturday. I watched what he did with the boys. And look, probably one of the things I did say to him is, for God's sake, mate, put your hand up again next year, because you were terrific. But listen, the clubs must get behind him and all the other people selecting the sides, because as far as I know, and this is not having a go at anyone that went up, they did a terrific job.
Yep.
But I think there was 19 out of the original side didn't play. And if you take them up, we beat the Heathcote League by 15 goals. And you blokes, you clubs, and Werribee included, you have to get behind them and make our league rise up the ladder.
Fantastic words too, Grubby, and I think so say all of us. We want a bit more commitment from the players that decided that they suddenly had to pull out. It'd be interesting to see how those horrific injuries have gone and how they'll turn up this afternoon. Hopefully they've made an amazing recovery. We're going to pay some bills. When we come back, we'll talk about Colts footy and start talking about all the big games on this afternoon. Back after this.
We are the Raiders from all around Geelong. I'm here to tell you how football is strong. Bounce the ball. Geelong and District Football League. We are the Raiders from all around Geelong. I'm here to tell you how football is strong.
And back again, of course, and there was some Colts footy on last week in Geelong, and Mitch Cleary knows all about it. Here's Mitch.
Thanks, Dick. Well, after a week off to recharge the batteries, we're back into Colts action this morning from 8 o'clock with a number of teams kicking off the due. Firstly, congratulations to the Geelong Football League and Ballerine Football League interleague teams who won their respective matches over the interleague break last weekend. The GDFL not picking a team to travel to Bendigo. In Division 1 this morning, Drysdale hosts Torquay in an intriguing battle between two Ballerine teams. Torquay sits unbeaten in second position, while Drysdale sits in fourth position, so it should be a great match to decide the fate of these two teams heading into the second half of the season. In Division 2, Bell Park have been unlucky in the last 2 matches, losing by an average of just a kick. But they play Bannockburn, who are the highest ranked GDFL team, ahead of Werribee Centrals, with the Tigers hoping to continue their winning form and make it 5 wins from the start of the season this morning. That's all from Colts. I'll see you next week, Dick.
Thanks, Mitch. Mitch will be back again next Saturday morning talking about everything that is Colts footy in the local Geelong area. Well, got a big round of footy on this afternoon. Before we talk about the 94.7 match of the day, I'll just have a quick chat to the boys here in the studio with me at the moment. It's interesting to note with the ladder as it sits at the moment, Eric, that the two grand finals of last year, Belpost Hill and East Geelong, are sitting 6th and 7th.
No, not quite, Dick. And
No?
Belpost are in the top 5, but East Geelong and Werribee Centrals are running 6th and 7th.
Okay, yep.
Grubby and I spoke about this over the last 2 games because they were both crucial games to East Geelong and Werribee Centrals. And Grubby, it's interesting to note that they're both 4 points out of the top 5 at this moment. It's hard to find a side that's going to allow them to get back in.
Well, look, it's very tough this year because I do think, I'm not quite sure from Werribee Central's point of view, but I do think East Geelong are as good, if not better, than maybe Bannock or North. But I don't know if they're going to push them out because of the continuation over the 3 years of our footy draw. I think North and Bannockburn have got the dream draw this year. They only play the top sides once, and they're going to be very hard to dislodge out of there.
The interesting aspect, Grubby, East Geelong have had 3 losses in 6 games. They were the teams above them on the ladder, so they've only beaten 3 teams below them. Werribee Centrals, likewise, haven't beaten a team above them either.
No, they haven't, and that's going to probably tell a big story towards late in the year because I think, just take Werribee Centrals aside, if they are to make the finals this year, I think they're going to have to probably cause a couple of big upsets against maybe Belpost Hill, Thompson or Anarchy to make the 5th position, because if they don't, I think they're might languish in 6th or 7th.
And obviously, Grubby, the draw relative to, if you look at it, Thompson, Anarchy, Belpost Hill, you'd think have consolidated positions in the top 5. North Geelong, Bannockburn are the vulnerable ones. The draw probably favours them, actually, when you look at what they've played so far and what they'll play again.
Well, it does, and you can go by the rounds now. Like, you know, both sides have played crucial games against better opposition and been beaten, which we'll probably talk about later on in the match of the day. But, yeah, look, because, as I said before, the continuation, it's not luck, and you can't go whinging about it because it happens over the 3 years. Werribee Centrals probably had a pretty good draw last year and get the tougher one this year. East Geelong the same. So, you know, as it rolls around, next year might be different again, but it's going to definitely favour North Geelong and Bannockburn this year.
I have to call you the Oracle from now on, Eric. That was pretty impressive stuff, that. You're quoting all those facts and figures in. I completely lost me completely after you said good afternoon. But that's okay. It sounded like a lot of sense to me. I'm sure you said to me out of the break that East Geelong and Belpost Hill were 6th and 7th.
No,
I think you might have set me up a bit there.
You were listening to Grubby and I talking about other teams. We'll let you off this morning.
I've got to pay attention, folks. That's what I've got to do. You don't believe it, would you? Anyway, this afternoon, of course, we're back to normal footy, and it is the 94.7 match of the day from 1:30 this afternoon. It is out of Victoria Park, and it's the Bannockburn Tigers, and they take on the North Geelong Magpies. And it would be an understatement to say, Eric, that this game is a very important game for both clubs.
Absolutely, Dick, and I'm very disappointed actually that I can't be there because of my commitments down the road.
It's your second week in a row. What's going on there? You're on long service leave or something?
Terrible state of affairs, but that's the worst of having responsibilities.
Grandparent responsibilities?
No. Cadinia Park responsibilities.
Oh, that's right, yes. And your role as one of the senior executive members of the Geelong Past Players Association?
Yes. So it has to be what has to be, has to be. But I'm very disappointed in not being able to go to Bannockburn this afternoon because, as you've said, this is a very crucial game. And as Grubby and I were saying a moment ago, Bannockburn also haven't beaten a side above them. North Geelong have in fact defeated East Geelong in round 1. And failing that, they haven't had to play the top side. So that creates an enormous impact on this afternoon's game. North, 5 wins, 1 loss. Bannockburn, 4 wins, 2 losses. And Grubby, there's an enormous amount hanging on the game in the fact that we just talked about whether they can stay in that top 5, even though it's only around 7. Well, it's crucial.
You're right, and that's because, as I say, the draw, and I just would like to pick you up on it because of sponsorship responsibilities. You've got Simmons Stadium, mate, not Cadinia Park. Right?
Oh.
Simmons Stadium, Simmons.
As long as I breathe, Cadinia Park.
Here we go.
Good on you, mate.
Back in my day.
No, look, you're right, and you hit the nail right on the head because Bannockburn, look, they had beaten no one. They came to their crunch game against Anarchy and got belted. North Geelong, will give them credit for the East Geelong game first up, but then they'd beaten no one. They went out to Foot Rot Flats and got belted. So this could be the tale of, I reckon East Geelong will get in eventually, so one of these sides will have to come out, and it may even be who wins or loses this afternoon.
Part of it might be the fact of whether Briggy's recovered from the injury that didn't enable him to play last week, which is probably crucial. But Paul Briggy is really the key to the North Geelong side. Have Bannockburn got a defender that can hold him?
Look, I don't know. We've seen them once. Probably have to go through the sides to have a good look at it. They've got a pretty strong back line, the Bannockburn boys, so it might take more than one, you know. And by the way, sarcasm doesn't become you. But look, it'll take more than one to beat Briggy, but it'll take more than one in any side to beat that boy, because he's a fantastic player.
And the other aspect, that the young kids that North are playing, and yeah, congratulations to them, because the kids who probably one or two could still qualify for under 18, but they're playing senior footy. They'll be tested out on the big Bannockburn Victoria Park, won't they? And just how well they can play on that ground against senior opposition will be another key to today.
Well, and you're definitely right. I did get a good look at them last year, though. Two of those boys, young Paramanov and Blake Miller, very, very good players in the under 18 comp. Somebody told me that Miller may have been a touch lazy. Well, whoever said that to me was a liar, because I watched him play this year and he was absolutely terrific. They played him in the ruck alongside Paramanov. Both of them are terrific. They've got their own too, you know. They've got their own Bannockburn boys.
Well, whatever happens on this afternoon, it'll be a fantastic game, of course, and you can catch it live on 94.7 The Pulse from 1:30 this afternoon. You'll hear Grubby. I've got no idea who he's going to be with, but it'll be somebody there. Don't you worry about that. Fantastic game, Victoria Park. Tune in, folks. It'll be great. We're going to take a short break. That's it, 94.7 The Pulse. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back and talk about all the games on this afternoon, and the big fella will get his tongue beat. See you later.
From all around Geelong, I'm here to tell you our football is strong. Geelong and District Football League. We are the Raiders from all around Geelong. I'm here to tell you our football is strong.
And welcome back, and the big fella's got his tooth back in, folks, so hopefully I'll be able to talk properly in this segment. I'm starting to talk like Grubby. He's giving too much influence on me now, and some rubbish is coming out of my mouth lately. I don't know what's going on there. Well, we've got another big game on this afternoon. It's out at the Thunderdome. It's the Tommy Tigers, the Violet Crumbles, and they are going absolutely gangbusters at the moment, and they take on the Inverleigh Hawks. And we're just saying out of the break that poor old Dale Smith, who used to be a regular on our footy show here on Channel 34 on a Friday, we'll try Sunday morning, Saturday morning. He'd be wishing to goodness that he was back here sometimes. Eric, I'll start with you. Tommy Tigers, well, they're looking good at the moment, aren't they?
Absolutely as good as I've seen this year, Dick, and very, very positive in all that they do. And poor old Dale, I have some severe concerns for him this afternoon, because Inverleigh, they've had one win certainly, but they're nothing like the structure they had last year. They've lost a couple of key players. And Grubby Dale really has got his back to the wall to even be competitive.
Well, he has, but I think he's actually got them playing better than they were early in the year, but unfortunately not well enough to beat the Tommy Tigers at this point in time.
Poor old Smithy. I mean, he's missing out everywhere because he loves to join us at half time, so all the clubs are complaining they've got too many cream cakes left over because Smithy's... He can't get out of the rooms. He probably wishes he could come in at half time. The combination of Lucas Forbes, although he might be still injured, of course, and Brett McLeod, they're an awesome combination if those two guys are going to be on the paddock this afternoon.
Oh, well, they are. And you add Jackson, McLeod and a few others to that, and boy, are they a good side. They are a very good side and could go all the way.
Could go all the way. So all around the table, Tommy Tigers, we're all agreeant on that.
Very comfortable.
Grubby out at the Kevin O'Leary Oval, the East Geelong Eagles. They take on the Cry Devils, and once again, another club we're talking about off air, or just in the previous segment as well, East Geelong, nowhere near the side that they were last year in the finals. I guess they need to use this game to maybe get back on track again. Well,
they do, because obviously we expect a little bit more out of them, because they're not playing too bad at football. I honestly think, and I don't want to take anything away from it, and if they had the draw that North Geelong or Bannockburn had, they'd be sitting second on the ladder. Don't you worry about that. So, but they're not going as well, but I think there's plenty there to play on. Ricky O'Toole's come back. They'll be too good for Corai, who are improving every week.
You actually start to think, Eric, that maybe Ricky O'Toole might have been a late-minute inclusion at interleague side, because experience means a lot. He's just starting to pick up a bit of form, Rick, isn't he?
Well, for a bloke who missed the first five,
yep,
and to come back after a broken hand, he fitted in. A couple of weeks ago we saw him. He was a bit rusty, but looks as if he hadn't been out of the game at all. And yeah, he wouldn't have been out of place in the interleague at all.
So we all agree that East Geelong, Grubby for you, and East Geelong for you, Eric?
Yes.
Yep, the big fella's going to go for East Geelong as well. Those mighty Eagles out at the Richmond Crescent footy ground. Out of the Bell Post Tool Panthers, the home of the Ring Road Recreation Reserve, they take on Geelong West. Well, what can we say? I'll start with you, Eric. I don't give Geelong West much hope of all, and this could be just a percentage booster for the Panthers.
Yeah, well, I'm afraid you're right, Dick, because Belpost Hill, their only loss for the season was against Thompson on a very wet day and difficult day, and they've played very good football apart from that. Geelong West, Well, they've had a win, their first in a couple of years, and that was sensational for them. And they're playing good competitive football, but only for a portion of the game. Belpost still, they will play 4 quarters, and they'll be very hard to toss this afternoon.
Grubby, can you see the Cheetahs getting close to the Panthers at all?
No, nowhere near them. No. They've only won 1 game, which was great for them, but in every other game they haven't come within 10 goals of any other sides, and Belpost still is as good as going around, don't kill them.
There's a lot of chatter going on Facebook at the moment, folks. Out at the Winter Resort on Saturday, Brian Coglin's our floor manager's put a lot of comments up there to get the people rolling up there. And Popey, he's gone a little bit excited about it. The big word is that the Belmont Lions are going to come out and absolutely belt the living suitcase out of the Anarchy Roos at the Winter Resort, Eric. Is that going to happen?
I couldn't see it on the performance of Anarchy a couple of weeks ago. For 3 quarters at Werribee, they were absolutely sensational, and I can't put it any better than that. They played brilliant footy. I don't know whether they took the foot off the pedal or whether a few decisions went against them and they lost their momentum in the final quarter, and great credit to Werribee for coming home the way they did. The only thing about they go to Winter Reserve, Grubby, it's a difficult ground to play. I can recall within the last couple of years, Anarchy going well, well, it could have even been last year, went out to Winter Reserve and really struggled against Belmont Lions, who well, they came home very well at the end of the year, certainly. But I couldn't see Belmont getting anywhere near Anarchy today.
No, not on present form, I don't think. And I don't know about this Facebook. What's Twitter? What is Twitter? Do you know what Twitter is?
I've got no idea.
Because I heard...
No idea. Something that's in a birdcage, I think.
Well, I heard Graham Rawlo the other night on Geelong News saying Twitter this, Twitter that. He'd be good at that, Rawlo, because he's the biggest twit in Geelong.
Ah, jeez. Now we got stuck in a Rawlo. I'll tell you, I'm going to find the ducky. Hang on, I'll bring it out again. There he goes. He said it, folks, not me. It was the duck, or the whatever it is there. It's a cock, or whatever. No, it's a rooster. There it is.
We're going for Anarchy.
Get rid of that again. Righto. Well, so even with fabulous Freddie Logan on the side, you can't see Belmont winning, guys.
No.
Fair enough. Okay, I was trying to bring a bit of into the game. It doesn't matter. Yeah, so we reckon the Anarchy Roos will be far too good out at the Winter Resort. The last game on this afternoon is out at the Gun Club. It's the Winchelsea Blues. And they take on well, it's now been verified and documented in segment 1, the Duck Pond. Yes, that we saw it on segment 1. You can't miss that. Those little ducks swinging around. Dick, can you see Winchelsea beating Werribee Central's, Eric?
No, not really.
No?
Particularly if you put Werribee in the mode that they were in the last quarter against Anarchy was sensational, and that sort of footy would have beaten most sides. I reckon they ran out of time on that day. Winchelsea, could be a very, very long season for them, and you know, I can't see where they're going to conjure a win in any shape, and certainly not today.
No, I can't see the Blues winning, Grubby.
Oh, no, I don't think so. Look, Werribee were completely outplayed last round against Anarchy for 3 quarters, but their form in that last quarter, as Eric said, was absolutely sensational. And if that's the turning point, and obviously they hope it is, if they can play like that for the rest of the year, they might surprise us all, but I think they'll be too strong for Winchelsea today.
Fantastic indeed. I think we'll agree there. The Ducks will be too good for the Blues, don't you worry about that. And with the boys in the Gun Club take their pistols up there might be, well, you never know, just down at the Gun Club.
Feathers might be flying.
Might be a few ducks falling out of the sky. Have a look at theirs with the biggest duck of all. Have a look at that, folks. Unbelievable. Well, that takes us out for another show. Before we go, you got any more whinges you want to do, Grubby? Anybody want to have a cracker?
No, I think I've got most. Well, yeah, actually, I had. The Geelong Falcons. What
have they done wrong?
Are they on top? Are they on top of the ladder?
I don't know.
They must be a fantastic side, because if Matt Tyquin can't get a game in that side, I'm not here. Because I've watched him. He's a terrific kid, and he's not even getting a game there. What's going on there?
Strike. He's on his soapbox this morning, folks. Well, I'm not going to buy into that one. Eric, have you got anyone you want to whinge about this morning?
No, I think I'm all very comfortable. Thanks, Dick.
You're okay tonight. Have a great afternoon down at Cardinia Park, Skilled Stadium.
Thank you very much.
Simmons Stadium.
Simmons.
I don't know where to go for Simmons Stadium, but I can find Cardinia Park.
So where they've got the past players now? They pulled the grandstand down. You're out in a tent out the back there somewhere.
No, we're occupying the Bruce Moore room, which is the cricket club room.
Oh, okay.
And we're very grateful to the footy club to have a home for 12 months.
Oh, wonderful people down at the Geelong Cricket Club. Don't you worry about that. Well, Grubby, have a great afternoon at Bannockburn.
I will.
I'll see you out there. We'll obviously run into the legend himself. Billy Kelly. He'll be out there. We're not allowed to do that, so I'm not going to... Don't you worry about that. He played in 1925, do you know that? He played for North Geelong in the under-18s. I'm being serious.
Was football invented when he was in the under-18s?
I didn't say that, folks. Thanks again for your company. Now, don't forget to tune into 94.7 The Pulse, your home of country football. 1:30 this afternoon for the big clash from Victoria Park. The Bannockburn Tigers taking on the North Geelong Magpies. It'll be an absolute beauty. Don't you worry about that. Thanks for your company again. We'll see you all again the next Saturday morning.
The operators from all around Geelong, I'm here to tell you our football is strong. We're the best. Bounce the ball, let's get into it.